Okay, in this video we are going to look at factoring by grouping, and to do that we're going to start with where the factoring by grouping method comes from. So we're going to go back to when we were multiplying binomials and the method of distributing that we could use. So by rewriting what we were actually doing mathematically. So if you remember, when we are multiplying, one of the methods we looked at is that when I'm distributing my binomials, I'm really taking 4x and multiplying by 2x and negative 1. So I'm taking 4x and I'm multiplying by 2. And then I'm taking 3 and multiplying by 2x minus 1. So really, this whole expression could be written in this way. So these are equivalent expressions, just written in a different way. So that's the first thing that we need to understand when we're looking at the grouping method. Okay, so we're going to use this binomial to help us work backwards and factor. So let's go ahead and multiply out my binomials. And remember, all of these are equivalent expressions. We're just writing them in different ways. So we're going to go ahead and multiply out. So I have 8x squared minus 4x plus 6x minus 3. So now we can see that we have our middle terms. And now we're going to combine those to get our trinomial, which is normally what you're given to factor. So 8x squared plus 2x minus 3. Okay, so now we are going to work backwards to factor. So we know as we work backwards, we're actually going to work backwards and get these same pieces as we work backwards. So let's remember what we know about my quadratic expression here. So we know that this is actually two terms. We already know it's negative 4 and 6, but if I didn't know, I know I'm looking for two numbers that add or have a sum of 2. And then we've also learned that I'm looking for two numbers that multiply 8 times negative 3 to equal negative 24. So they have a product of negative 24. So if I begin to look for that sum and product, so let's see, let's find our factors of 24. I have 8 times 3. 8 times 3 doesn't work to equal 2. I have 12 times 2, which also does not work to equal 2. But I have 6 times 4. 6 minus 4 is 2. So I could have 6 and negative 4. Okay, so these numbers become my two terms that are going to add up to equal that 2x. So now I'm going to rewrite 8x squared minus 4x, and I just chose to put 4 there because, well, you'll see, I'll show you why in just a minute. It was just a little bit easier for me. So 8x squared minus 4x plus 6x minus 3. Okay, so what we have done here is now we can actually break these apart. We can group them into two binomials that are being added together. So I've done nothing except add parentheses for the purpose of actually taking out a greatest common factor. So I chose to put negative 4 here because that to me was an easier greatest common factor to take out between 8 and 4. And I chose to put 6 here because then I could take out a greatest common factor with 6 and negative 3. So that was just a choice that I made. So I'm going to take out my greatest common factor between 8x squared and negative 4x is 4x. So now I'm left with 2x minus 1, and hopefully you're saying a little bit of an aha. We're seeing that we're working backwards to what we had. And then on my second factor, I'm going to take out, or my second binomial, I can take out the factor of 3, leaving me with 3 times 2x minus 1. So here we are, we've worked backwards, and we know that we actually could rewrite this as 4x plus 3 times 2x minus 1. So this is our factoring by grouping. It's not entirely different from what you're doing before. It's just another method and way